and help them use it. So think about how you can spread your 100% passion, which I'm not seeing, but I'm taking your word for it, to other people. If anyone wants to dance, that would be fine. Okay. And then the last quote is, effective leadership is not about making speeches or being liked. I hope I'm liked. I'm making a speech, but it's defined by results, not attributes. And at the end of the day, this discussion that we're having today is really about accountability and about results and about the follow-through. And one of the things that we hear over and over again about quality improvement is we don't close that loop. We get together, we look at information, sometimes we come up with plans of correction. I like to call them action plans, it's more positive. But then they never seem to fully come to fruition. And I think as a field, this is where we are, is figuring out how do we make these plans come to fruition. And that's what today is about in this new initiative. I put in my notes the numbers from the CFSR, those results. And I think those are important. They provide us a starting point and a benchmark. But nobody here would say that those numbers and those results are good enough for our kids. All right. I'm going to talk about my agency for just a minute. Now, in your pack of materials, you have a page that says the 14 mandated tasks. And that's material from our agency. There are 14 things that we do at Kids Hope United on a regular basis. And I would tell you that the regularity of doing it is one of the most important things. People can expect it, they can count on it. Our CQI is driven by an annual plan. We try to put the dates in there a year in advance because things like record review, if you don't schedule them, it's very hard to get people together. We've had to deal with the issue of, well, what happens if someone gets called to court? So we've created a backup plan. We provide services in Illinois, Missouri, and then in Florida. Florida is the Wild West, and the further south you go, the wilder it gets. In Miami, people come to meetings if they feel like it. I mean, you can't count on it, and it's also on Miami time, which has nothing to do with any real clock. So, you know, we entice, we cajole, but what we've had to do is really train a much broader pool of folks to show up to make sure we have record reviewers because that process is so important. So we have a plan to do this. We also report quarterly on the progress, and we've started taking our action plans and we've started putting them into a database so that we can pull up at any time what's supposed to happen. And we're not there yet. We're still trying to figure out how to close that loop. But two things that we found that are helpful are automating the action plans and then coming back the next time and starting with, did we do what we committed to do? Just that question. And we usually send out the action plan, you know, a month in advance and say, the meeting's coming up. You might want to make sure that what we committed to doing, you know, here's a reminder to actually do it. And then the second part is we share the meeting minutes. And we're going to start posting those on our website. So if you're in Miami and you want to see what Karen Powell is doing, her good ideas, you'll be able to pull those up and look. And that really helps close that loop. And that's a place where we're not good, and we need all the good ideas we can get how to make that happen. So I just put that in there to share with you, you know, some of the things we're doing. I wish the QIT, which is Quality Improvement Teams, I wish I had the ability to have made that a heart. Because the heart of all of this is meeting in teams. If we don't get together and have a discussion with information, it really doesn't matter. It's the team that brings all of its creative, collective wisdom and enthusiasm that makes all the difference. And that's another reason why I'm excited about these regional quality councils, because we're going to be bringing the brilliant minds from a variety of places together to do some really great problem solving. Okay, well, I'll tell you my one story. When I was asked to do this, I really wanted to talk about collaboration because that's my passion lately is public-private agency collaboration. My career now is exactly half and half public and private work. And so it's really important to me how the two work together, because if we continue to not work together well, kids and families suffer. And we don't have enough resources on either side to do this alone. So we've got to figure it out. So I went to the magic store, and I wanted to get something so I could put something together and have an explosion and smoke. So I'm searching the web, I'm searching the magic stores, and I find this stuff that you put on your finger and go like this, and it does a big poof of smoke. So I'm very excited. I get it home. I packed it carefully in my suitcase because I thought, ooh, this might not make security real comfortable. It wasn't going to go in the carry-on bag for sure. Okay, I get it home. I put it on my fingers. I do this. Sure enough, I get this poof of smoke. I'm so excited, except that I smell it, and it smells like gasoline, and it will not come off my fingers. So I said, okay, well, this is going to be a problem, and I'm leaving here and going directly to the airport, and I thought the last thing I need is to smell like an explosive, have it on my fingers, and try to get through security at O'Hare. So please imagine, poof, a nice, wonderful, the collaboration, the chemicals went together. I mean, I spent a lot of time on this. I wanted a poof so bad. So what I got was a nuclear explosion picture. But when we get together and we make it work, it is magical. And when we're at loggerheads all the time and we can't agree, it really is. It just makes the day it makes the work such a grind. So we have to make a decision and a commitment here this morning about how we're going to collaborate with one another. And for many years, this has been a vision in the state of Illinois. I know this started with Jess. This was always part of his vision. I didn't know Director Samuels, but I know Director McEwen, and I know that this passion and this desire for real collaboration is in his heart, and I think we have the chance in Illinois to do something that nobody else has done, and in a way that nobody else has done, and that just makes me really, really excited. So I think we can fulfill our goal here. All right, this next one is an eye test, and luckily you also have that in your materials, and I'm dying to see how it looks. Yeah. If you can read this in the back row, your vision is better than 20/20. I want to talk about this a little bit, although I guess I can't walk away from these microphones. In the middle of this box is really the reason why we do quality activities at all. And I put there evidence-based practice. And I know for a lot of our services, there isn't evidence-based practice yet. There isn't, and that's okay. So think of this as we have a good rationale and we can define what we do. I think of many occasions, and I'm going to use a residential example. I went into a residential center and I said, what's your model of practice? And they said, well, it's a family teaching model. And I said, well, what does that mean? And they said, well, every moment is a teachable moment. And I said, well, what does that mean? And that's as far as it got. That's not really a model of service. That isn't a well-articulated, well-thought-through model of service. So we need to think a little bit more about why we're doing what we're doing and why we believe that leads to change. Because it's only on that we can evaluate whether we're doing what we hope we're doing, what we think we're doing. So we want to have some rationale or some evidence for why we're doing what we're doing. We can use COA standards or other accrediting standards that can help us think about that, but we ought to be able to describe why we do things.